Hey, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary, and this is a very quick little mini episode. It's 419. Hope you're keeping well and safe, Who fans. Hope you are doing something Doctor Who related. It's been a little while since the last episode. That was, 418 back on the 28th of Feb. So nearly a month since the last episode. Back on that one, I'd let you guys know that we were going to be moving away from the regular weekly episodic stuff for the foreseeable future, and there's a few reasons for that. Go and check out that episode that dives into all of that stuff. Not going to repeat all that here, but I did want to come back this week though with a wee little mini episode, because the first big thing is the 20th anniversary, the 20th birthday for modern Doctor Who, the revised, the comeback, new Who, if you want to spell it that way. Ugh. N-U-W-H-O. Newer Doctor Who. 20 bloody years. Happy birthday. Crikey. I put some stuff out on the socials this morning. Thank you very much to those who have replied and have also had similar thoughts and feelings on this stuff as I have. It's excuse the massive pun here, but time is weird sometimes in how it works, in that it fluctuates and flip-flops between sometimes something feeling extremely long since it first appeared, and then other days, for no explainable reason, you'll wake up and it feels like it was yesterday. And for me, Doctor Who is like that. Now, I need to insert a very quick caveat here to me talking about this subject, in that I did not watch Doctor Who when it came out in 2005. If you are a long-time listener to the Big Blue Box podcast, then you will know why. I've told this story a few times when it's needed over the years on a few different episodes. But for new listeners, very, very quickly, I did not watch. I was not into Doctor Who when it came back in 2005. I was aware of it, absolutely. 100% knew that there was a show that was starting called Doctor Who. I just didn't watch it. I was aware of Classic Who as well before that. But I didn't watch the show. And it wasn't until a few years later that I actually got into it. So I say happy birthday with a sense of, what's the word to describe it? A sense of, although I wasn't there on hand to witness things unfolding from 2005 with the episode Rose onwards, I still very much celebrate all of the anniversaries and birthdays, etc., because I've been a Doctor Who fan for 15, 16 years now. So although that pales in comparison to some of you out there who have been a Doctor Who, I've spoken to many of you either on the socials or when we've had a pint somewhere at an event. I've known some of you that have been Doctor Who fans for circa 40 years, which is incredible. And I've known some of you that have been Doctor Who fans for a year, which is also very cool. But for me, about 15, 16-ish years, I think I've been a Doctor Who fan, which is no small amount of time. So I can comfortably lump myself in with the grizzled ancients, I think, and the long timers, and celebrate these kind of things. So the whole point of this episode really was to just say a big happy 20th birthday. I do remember back in 2005, although I didn't watch it, I do remember, and this was something that's really cool, that it just shows that good old marketing works when it needs to, and that I remember just tons of billboards, huge billboards littered around the town that I was living in at the time, in Luton, my hometown, London, a couple of towns that I went to when I was visiting friends. I remember seeing just that huge image of Rose and the Doctor standing in front of the TARDIS with the big red BBC One logo in the bottom left-hand corner, and the huge BBC logo that went down the right-hand side. And the doors of the TARDIS were open, and there was all these big light rays coming out of it. And it was Rose standing next to the Doctor, Billy Piper and Chris Eccleston. And next to the logo in the bottom left-hand corner, it said Doctor Who. Underneath that, it said Saturdays at 7 p.m. Now, I absolutely love that, because I thought... I was just very, very aware of it, and I vividly remember those billboard posters. It was just fantastic. So that just goes to show, someone like me who was not into Doctor Who at that time and didn't really have any plans to watch it when it went out. The marketing for that really did its job. It wasn't just me. There was a few of my few people in my friend circle who, again, like me, were not into Doctor Who, but they did say, I think one of my friends at the time said, "Oh, my dad's going to be watching Doctor Who on Saturday. Are you guys going to watch it?" And I think we were going out at the time, and so we said no, we weren't going to watch it. He was like, "Oh yeah, my dad loves it, and yeah, he's an old time Doctor Who fan, so he's gonna check it out." And but he only asked his dad about that because of the poster, because I remember him saying that his dad had all the Target books and VHS tapes of Doctor Who from the classic years and so on. And he was prompted to ask his dad about Doctor Who because he'd seen the poster. I had seen the poster on the billboards and stuff, so I was aware of it. And it's a bit of a shame these days that we don't really see that kind of big sort of mass kind of print marketing thing going on as much. I think we do still see some I remember going to... Where was I last year? I was either in New York or Toronto last year, and I remember seeing a big portrait sized huge poster of Doctor Who. But I think that was a Disney thing. Yeah, I don't think that was a BBC. Could be, but I don't think it was a BBC-led marketing campaign. I think that was more Disney Plus. But anyway, here in this country, in the UK, would love to see those. Yeah, just a bit of spend on old traditional stuff, An ad, full page ad in SFX magazine, an ad in the paper, a billboard. Anyway, I'm waxing about this now. But anyway, it was really cool to see loads of you posting photos of those billboards online, and it just had sparked a little memory, a little flashback of seeing that stuff, and then also just reading all of your sort of mini stories of, you're reminiscing about your first experience watching Doctor Who in 2005 and watching the episode Rose and all that stuff. It's a lovely little walk down memory lane to go back to that episode. So once again, a big happy birthday to Doctor Who's comeback, the revival year since 2005. I, for one, love the episode Rose. I think it's a solid story. I think it introduces the characters really well. It's got just enough in there for the classic Doctor Who fans. Of course, with the Nestine and consciousness and the Autons and stuff. Obviously, that's a bring back from the Pertwee stuff. But I think it sets up the television of its time 20 years ago. I think it sets up that beautifully for newer viewers, like newer people coming into Doctor Who. So nods to classic Who, and it's got that magical, we're off on it, we're starting a new journey feeling to it. And that's something, so I'll be watching Rose later over dinner. I'm going to stick that on. And it's going to be very cool. So 20 years for old classic Who. And then also, before I leave you guys, just want to update you on some of going from an anniversary for Doctor Who 20 years ago. Let's fast forward to Doctor Who that's coming up. So season 2, which is out next month. We've had a couple of trailers drop for that. Actually looks pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. Some of those episodes, they look very, very creatively interesting. And I'm looking forward to a few of these. And we've now got the episode titles for all of those. So every episode, of which there are 8, We now have those in order and who they were written by. So episode 1, The Robot Revolution. This is written by Russell. Episode 2 is called Lux, also written by Russell. Episode 3 is called The Well. That's written by Russell and Sharma Angel Walfall. Episode 4 is called Lucky Day. That's written by Pete McTighe. Episode 5 is called The Story and the Engine. That's written by Inuit Ellams. Episode 6, The Interstellar Song Contest, written by Juno Dawson. Episode 7 is called Wish World. That's written by Russell T Davies. And finally, episode 8 is The Reality War, also written by Russell T Davies. So how many has he written then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's written 5 out of the 8. Interesting. Anyway, Russell goes on to say, excitement mounts as the new season gets closer, and there's nothing a Doctor Who fan loves more than facts. So here's a whole bunch of them with titles and writers, everything you need to get ready for transmission. I won't go through all the directors and so on, but yes, some interesting titles there. And like I said, I'm looking forward to a few of these. It should be pretty cool. It's one of those things where, although we celebrate 20 years of Doctor Who, and I think we're all we get a nice, cozy, nostalgic feeling when we think about 2005 and that first series with Chris and Billy and those stories. I think Doctor Who is in a very, very different place these days, as you would expect it to be, of course. But I think certainly myself, my co-host Adam, I think I speak for him reasonably confidently, and for most of our writing team, and also more importantly you guys, I think, just judging the mood and feel across all the socials and whatnot, it's I think Doctor Who's in that place where, although we have a new season literally round the corner that's going to drop on us in the next, a month, 3 weeks time, something like that, I think a lot of fandom's like, yeah, it should be cool, yeah, should be. There's not that big spark of this is gonna be amazing, like I absolutely cannot wait. And so it's an interesting time for Doctor Who. And then I think, did I talk about this on the last episode or one before that? I think it was the last episode actually. I spoke about this whole controversy thing that's doing the rounds over the last month, 6 weeks, with our Disney Plus going to commission another series? Are they going to, is this going to be it for Doctor Who? Is it all this stuff? It's all shaping the landscape of things. So I think a lot, I wouldn't say, Doctor Who's in trouble, but I think a lot rides on the success of season 2 and that stuff. So as always, we wish it well, of course. It's the show that that I've loved for the past 15-ish years, and it's been a part of my life every single day for those 15-ish years, and that's no over-exaggeration. There hasn't been one single day where I've not interacted with somebody about Doctor Who, or I've watched Doctor Who, or I've listened to Big Finish, or I've written a blog post, or I've recorded a podcast episode, or I've gone to an event. There's literally been something, at some point in every day, whether I've checked socials and replied to somebody, or I've texted Adam about this cool Doctor Who thing, or I've gone on Discord and chatted to people, or whatever. Every single day, or even if it's contained within my own house, I've had a conversation with my wife about Doctor Who, like I said, or I've watched it, whatever. And I'm extremely thankful for that. So although it's not an anniversary or birthday about the podcast, I am extremely grateful and thankful that the people that back in 2005, of course, Russell T Davies and Julie Gardner and Chris Eccleston, Billy Pipe, all those people, the team, the responsibility, and the team of people responsible for bringing the show back was vast. So like this podcast episode and anyone else's podcast or YouTube video, whatever it might be, there's just not enough time to reel through every single name and credit and thank everybody. But I'm extremely thankful to all of those guys that were like, actually, yeah, Doctor Who deserves a place on TV. And they worked their nuts off to do that and get that back, because I think sometimes, I'm going a bit of a rant here, sorry Who fans, sometimes I think we take for granted two things. Number one, just how difficult it is to make a television program, let alone something that's with expectations of fans. So we've seen this across a few different franchises. If you're involved in any kind of chatter around Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, comic books, the DC stuff, Marvel, any of those big franchises, anything where there's like 1 billion fans and they're all very passionate and so on, it's extremely difficult to satisfy everybody, to keep everybody happy, to try and make a program that everybody's going to enjoy. It just, the nuts and bolts of getting a TV program off the ground, it is an immense, huge task. And I've said this a few times. I honestly don't think that enough people appreciate that, and enough people understand just how much of a lifelong, life-occupying, time-draining commitment it is for many people to make a show. When you then times that all by 100 to make Doctor Who, then it's a massive, monumental task, huge. And there are decisions that have been made around the show by certain showrunners, by executives, by whoever. And although we've sat here many times and I've seen other YouTube creators and just people in general talk about how bad some of Doctor Who is and all this stuff, I would not want that responsibility, put it that way. We can sit here till the day is long and say, actually, this episode wasn't great and this is what I would have done, and blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you, it's not as easy as just saying, and I would have done that. So I think that's the first thing. Everybody that's involved in making the show deserves a huge, massive round of applause, several pints bought for them, and a big bloody medal to actually make a show like Doctor Who. It's such a difficult... Anyway, so many difficult things. And then the second thing that we take for granted is that just think how long we've been enjoying Doctor Who on our screens. If you take out the other long-running shows, especially here in the UK, I'm talking about the soaps, right? So EastEnders, Coronation Street, whatever the other ones are. I'm not talking about those, because that's the whole point of a soap, is like an ongoing thing. With Doctor Who, there are no guarantees. There are absolutely no guarantees that we would have got anything past Chris Eccleston's series. There are no guarantees that, as each era of the show transitions from a new showrunner and a new doctor into another one, there's no guarantee that the people at the BBC are going to say, actually, yeah, we want to keep doing this. Because we've seen that in the past. We've seen that with McCoy's era, where those guys were fully 100% under the impression that they were just doing multiple series of Doctor Who. And then literally at the snap of the fingers, it's like, actually, guys, you don't have a job on Monday. So sorry about that, but the show's done. So see you later. So it's very, I think sometimes we take that little nugget for granted as well. And I'm not even referencing pre-2005. That's another big beast on its own to talk about. All I'm talking about is since 2005. Think how long Doctor Who has been on our screen since 2005. And other TV shows. Think about the many, many, many very, very good TV shows that have got 2 seasons maximum. 4 seasons at the very, very most. And these are shows that have been loved and absolutely, they've been brilliant. But, 3-4 seasons, that's your lot. That's your max. And then we've got Doctor Who, which is still just chugging away, 20. I think that's something we need to, especially on days like today when it's 20 years, I think we really need to just stop just for a second and be like, actually, although and especially like myself and those of you that have not been too keen on Doctor Who and have had a bit of an up and down over the last few years with it, and And you've got that whenever you're down a pub, you're talking to Doctor Who, or you're at Comic-Con or an event of some kind, and you're bumping into your mates that you regularly see, and you start having conversations along the lines of, oh yeah, it's Doctor Who's not like it, it's the David Tennant heydays, series 3, series 4, it's not like that anymore. I'd love to go back to that time. It's not like that. Oh God, Matt Smith's era. Oh, the first series, season 5, kicking off with the 11th hour. Oh, that was that for me was peak Doctor Who, and it's not like that anymore. And it's not like that. Do you know what? There's some truth in that, in terms of your own view of the show, and there's a layer of subjectivity across all of that as well. What you like and love about Doctor Who, somebody might hate, and vice versa. And so I think regardless of your opinion, but especially if you think like, Doctor Who's not that great anymore. So I'm guilty of that a little bit. I'm not, in the run up to season 2 with Ncuti's new season coming up, I'm not sort of chomping at the bit like I used to be a few years ago. I've kind of got that, and I'm certainly not going to get up at 3 a.m. or 6 a.m, whatever it is. I'll just catch it later in the day. I'm still very, very just sometimes needed to take a second and think, do you know what? Doctor Who's, it's doing all right. For a show that's lasted in its comeback 20 years, it's doing all right. So I think we need to be mindful of that at times, especially on days like today. So I hope you don't mind my ramblings and my little rants on this quick little solo episode this afternoon. It's going out a bit late. I just thought I'd jump on and do this just because I had a little wave of emotion came over me as I was going through the socials and just looking at everyone's tweets and messages about Doctor Who and your thoughts and your memories and your reminiscing and stuff. I love days like today. I honestly, being a Doctor Who fan and seeing just how happy people are about their memories of watching Doctor Who for this long, and their memories of the episode Rose, and then going through all, talking about their favourite parts of, I don't know, Matt Smith's favourite episode or what they loved about, that it's just, it had a wave of emotion. It was like, actually, it's days like today that I absolutely freaking love being a Doctor Who fan and being part of the Doctor Who community with all of you. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to wrap up there. So the episode titles for season 2, let me know what you think of those. You can hit me up on the Twitter or the X or Blue Sky, whatever. Just do a search for the Big Blue Box podcast. You'll find us on all those. Or if you head over to the website, which is bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk, we are still putting out all of the blog material, by the way, even though the podcast is having a bit of a seasonal format change at the moment. To be honest with you, I think we're going to be doing, it's not going to be as sparse as what you think it is with the podcast. We're still going to be coming back and doing episodes like this one. Adam and I will be back in a few weeks' time. We're going to kick off our reviews for all of season 2. So for those 8 weeks that's going out, we'll be back every week for that full season to review those. And then after that, we'll still come back and we'll do that. Plus the roundtable episodes are still going to be going out. And the writing team are still going to be putting out the big finish reviews, the event roundups, the editorial pieces, all of that stuff. So in some ways, it does feel like the Big Blue Box podcast side of things is slowing down, but in reality, I think we're just going to give you more sort of better quality content as opposed to trying to slog it out every week when there's not much going on, because guaranteed when season 2's finished and at the end of whenever it is, beginning of May, end of May, something like that, when season 2 has finished and it slows down a bit, we'll be back in that situation where okay, what do we want to talk about this week? Well, there's no Doctor Who news and we've reviewed everything and there's nothing going on. So what do we do? We have got some ideas, by the way, for some other types of content that we might start to do. A lot of you have asked us to do commentaries. So we might pick a Doctor, or we might pick, a series of cool episodes, or we might do a poll, see what you guys think if you want us to do a commentary, and then we'll do a bit of a watch along. So you know the deal. where it's like you start a podcast episode and we'll be like, right, okay, we're going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all watch an episode together, and then we'll give you our thoughts and our feelings on that episode as we watch through it, and some trivia and stuff like that. So that might be cool. And we got a couple of other bits lined up as well. So yeah, we've got plenty of stuff. There is loads going on for the Big Blue Box still. So and we'll be back with sort of mini episodes like this as well. So fear not, there'll be stuff going on. So anyway, head over to the website, bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can read all the stuff from the writing team, Maria, Jordan, Matt, Harry. Check out all of their stuff. Very, very, very cool guys. And those of you in the UK, if you've got your ticket for the Capital Cutaway event, that's coming up really fast. That's next weekend. So that is on Sunday, the 6th of April. We will be there. We will be in London the whole weekend. The whole Big Blue Box team is there, other than Adam, unfortunately. He's back in the US at the moment. But the rest of us will all be there. We're there from the Saturday evening. So if you want to catch up with us, chew the fat on everything Doctor Who, we'll be having a few drinks out on Saturday night. And then we'll, of course, be at the event on Sunday. So we'll hope to see and meet listeners that we've not met before. We'll hope to see and meet listeners that we have met many times before, and have a good old chinwag on things and all that stuff. So if you've not got your ticket yet, has it sold out? I could be asking you to book a ticket. And it's actually sold out. Oh, it is sold out. Oh, bummer. Right, anyway, those of you that have got your ticket, we will see you around. So come and track us down and have a chat. So that'll be very cool. And then lastly, just as I normally do to round this stuff up, I'm going to cue the music, and then we'll do a couple of last bits. But thank you very much, though, for joining me for episode 419. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Big Blue Box. That was a quick little episode from me just to keep you updated. Say a big thank you to those of you that keep coming back and listening. So we love you guys so much over the years. You know that. We really appreciate you listening to the show. And once again, a big happy birthday to Doctor Who since 2005, the big 2-0, the 20 years. Very, very thankful and grateful, regardless of your opinion on what the show is like these days versus that, or anything to do with that. It's just very cool milestone for the show. As I mentioned, you can hit us up on the socials. Just do a search for Big Blue Box Podcast, or head over to the website, which is bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk, and you can read all of the reviews and articles from the team there. Plus you can link off to the socials, plus you can link off to our Discord server, which is free, really cool, loads of cool Doctor Who chat happening over there. So sign up there and join in and chat just Doctor Who. Everything to do with Doctor Who there. It's really cool. Don't forget to remember to check out my co-host channel, Adam, over on YouTube. It's called The Geek's Handbag. Adam's got loads of cool geekery stuff there. So go and check out Adam's channel and get comfy and consume all the geekery over there. And lastly, a little plug for our other podcast, which is Federation Strike. It's about Blake 7. There'll be a link in the show notes, or just do a search for Federation Strike Blake 7 as we go through Series A of that show, which is really cool. And until next time, which will probably be our Season 2 kickoff reviews now, please take care of yourselves. We'll see some of you on Sunday, but otherwise, we'll see you soon. And remember, Aaaaaaaallons-y.